Hey, what is up, everybody? It is Dirty and
DZAN. What is going on, everybody? It is episode 14. Today is Wednesday, June 23rd for you. Friday, June 25th. And Dirty's middle finger as always. And ladies and gentlemen, this is our first official podcast since our federal Juneteenth holiday. So happy Freedom Day, ladies and gentlemen. What is going on, Dirty? How you doing?
Black Lives Matter. I'm doing good, brother. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Big week for MMA topics, big week for music, and of course, we got our top 10 horror movies to do right at the end. So without further ado,
this is going to be an interesting one because, and I told DZAN, I don't think he necessarily agreed with me, but I just have this strong feeling that our things are going to be somewhat vastly different.
See, and I thought the same for our comedies, but we had a lot that were on the same. Step Brothers was the exact same number.
Right.
Tommy Boy,
right. Yeah. We'll see. It's just, I have a different thought on this one. We'll find out though. You guys, just so you know, we go out of our way not to share our list with each other. So,
it's nice.
Hey, before we get into all of this stuff, because DZAN, truth be told, you guys, he does a lot of the heavy lifting for this, and especially when it comes to news. But I got to interject on this one. Ariel Helwani is no longer with ESPN, and I was not aware of this until I watched Believe You Me this week, and he was on there, and he did a really good interview, and I don't know why I keep saying actually. But I was like, man, that's pretty wild, because I think he was on a 3-year contract with them. Well, he signed with BT Sports, and he's going back to doing the MMA Hour, which I was a huge fan of. I used to watch it religiously.
Right.
He gave Conor McGregor his very first interview for an American audience. I remember that interview. I watched it in real time. It was so awesome. It was an awesome interview. Conor McGregor was he was a lot different in that interview. He's very transparent. Mm-hmm. It was a different Conor McGregor. If you've never watched that, go back and watch the MMA Hour, Ariel Helwani with Conor McGregor's first interview. And you know what? I may do something with that. Never mind. Don't go look at it. Stay right here. Stay tuned. But I just found that very interesting because, as we all know, Dana White swore that he would never let Ariel work with the UFC, and he would do everything in his power to keep that from happening. We all know that Dana has a lot of bent ears over at ESPN. Because quite frankly, he's done a lot for ESPN, even though ESPN's done a lot for them. But the UFC has driven ESPN's ratings up through the roof. Mm-hmm. So it was definitely a two-sided relationship. And so one can't help but wonder if Dana didn't get his way again. And this is one of those things. I don't always like Ariel. I want to get that out there. Yeah. But I also don't like a bully. I hate a bully. Yeah. And I hope that my suspicions are wrong, but I wanted to get that out there. I don't usually bring a whole lot of news to this. That usually DZAN, but I did want to get that one out there.
Well, in true Believe You Me fashion, I'm gonna play devil's avocado here, and I'm gonna say that Dana White is still like, you fucked over the biggest return pay-per-view I ever had at the time when I really needed it.
Did he fuck it over though? Did he fuck it over
2 hours before the official announcement?
Yeah, I get that, and he was wrong. He was wrong for that.
And he did know. He did know.
Absolutely. He was no argument here. He was dead wrong.
Yeah.
But it was an ambitious reporter at the time that didn't have a name for himself yet. And
see
a lot of times you kind of have to bite the bullet to make your mark in this world.
And at this time, he already had kind of this look that he was that guy that was a shit starter, that did those things on purpose and did little antics with fighters to really, really upsell not just the fight, but his program. And so that's why he would ask Rampage some cheeky questions. He'd do the same thing. You know, he did that to all the fighters. So he already had that reputation of this guy is a little snake in the grass. And then he goes and does that. Dana White, you're done. We were never friends, basically, is what Dana White said.
Are you going to unblock me from Instagram?
Yeah.
No. Next question.
You're staying blocked. All right. No, that was great. No, that's really good. And I didn't know where he was going. I didn't see that.
He signed a contract with BT Sports, but
Gotcha.
he also apparently has a lot of freedom, which is good for him.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't agree with your take on that, but I respect it nevertheless, because I know that there is some of that out there. But at that time, I don't know that he had quite that reputation yet. Yeah, he was getting under the skin of some of the fighters for sure, but it wasn't done on a large scale to the point to where he was notorious for it. I don't necessarily agree with that. But with that said, you're right. And, you know, you can play devil's avocado if you choose to do so with that. But
I do.
For me personally, I just don't like a bully, and I like it when a bully gets a dose of his own medicine once in a while.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed watching Suge Knight getting carted off to jail. I got a lot of satisfaction out of that.
Yeah. 100%.
You know, I that's just the way I am. When I was a kid, I got in a lot of fights for sticking up for other kids.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Anyway, I digress. I just wanted to get that out there.
I just want to brush over this next topic because I only went 2 and 4, but Vegas, UFC Vegas 29 wrap up. Dirty killed it. He went 5 and 1 with his picks. DZAN went 2 and 4. All right, next up.
Yeah, you know that's not going to work that way.
Look, Matt Brown.
I told you guys, hang on a second. I told you guys last week, I said, I pointed to the camera and I said, this is the first time this has happened. And he went all in on me. And I kept telling you guys, I've got a reputation. And he doesn't. And I've been picking and killing it. 1 week, he gets me, and he just runs to the bank with it. And here we are. Once again, I went 5 and 1. He went 2 and 4.
I am ashamed.
Well, where do you go, bully?
Yeah, you never like bully. I mean,
but you were the bully last week, though. That's my point.
Yeah.
I had to put it on you.
All right. Look, it was a good fight card. We had Matt Brown.
A good card, yeah.
Do amazing knockout to Lima. What a good fight.
I don't want to jump ahead here, but I'm going to. I had such a hard time picking the oh my gosh, the Cheeto Vera and
the Gravy Davy Grant.
Davy Grant. First of all, I love Davy Grant. And as a matter of fact, you made the comment last week before we made our picks about Davy Grant and thinking he was going to win. And I agreed with you.
Yeah.
But then I started thinking and more and more. And I just, right at the last minute, I said, you know, Cheeto is fucking tough, man. And I know he lost to Sugar Sean O'Malley, but but nevertheless,
it was a good showing.
Yeah, it was a good showing. Somehow he walked out of there with a win, even though Sugar won. But yeah, no, that was the one I was concerned about the most.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I went with Cheeto in the end, for obvious reasons. But boy, even though he looked like he fell off a motorcycle, Davy Grant was in full on beast mode, especially in that first round, man. But man, he ate so many elbows and
dude.
I know I jumped ahead. Sorry about that.
But no, it's okay. Because the next two, to be honest, were not, I mean, they both ended in round one, you know, but yeah, I will say though, after 3 straight fucking knockouts, I went on Instagram and Twitter and was like, oh my God, is this going to be our first fucking fight card where it's all knockouts? And then the last 3 were all decisions. So there goes that.
Although, but
they were all great fucking fights. They were all great fights.
Yeah. Davy Grant should have went down a couple of times. Dude,
heart of a fucking lion, heart of a champion. Man. That's why I love Davy.
Never
man. And he's such a good guy. He's such a good guy. And he never broke.
He is a great guy.
Doesn't. Just like Nate, just like Nick, he does not break. He just there's some of those guys you can't break. You will break yourself breaking them, to be honest. I wasn't expecting Julian Erosa to get knocked out in round 1, although I will say I definitely underrated his Choi. I definitely underrated Choi. So my bad in that department. And then of course Marlon Vera winning a great but handed decision to Davy Grant.
You know, guys, we get on here and we talk so much shit. But the reality is picking UFC fights is not like picking an NFL game. There's so many variables. Mm-hmm. You know, is there going to be a bad weight cut? You know, did he get into a fight with his wife right before the fight? There's just so many variables that come into the headspace of a fighter.
On top of that, matchups, right? Because you can't. It's not. You don't just win by knockout. You win. You can win by submission.
It's so difficult. You know, we get up here and we talk a lot of shit, but the reality is that it's a lot. There's a lot of luck involved here, you guys.
Well, a good example is I thought Oleinik was going to secure a good Ezekiel choke.
That was the one I. That's the one I missed.
That's the one you missed. Yeah,
and that's the one I missed. And when I was picking those, I didn't even hesitate to pick Oleinik. Didn't even hesitate.
Either. I thought he had it in the bag. And then of course our boy Korean Zombie. What a great fight with Dan Ige. But man, he's amazing, man. He's just amazing. He puts on these kind of fights.
I almost picked Ige. As a matter of fact, I think in the podcast last week I was kind of amped up about seeing Dan Ige. And but then what happened is that I realized before I made my picks, I realized, am I getting caught up on the nostalgia of Dan Ige fighting again? Mm-hmm. Is that what's happening here, Dirty?
Right.
You know, which is why I ended up going with Korean Zombie, because I felt that Korean Zombie was the safer pick.
Right.
Quite frankly. So.
All right. And then some news that we can cover if we're done with the UFC Vegas 29. We have Max Holloway, unfortunately, pulling out of his fight with Yair Rodriguez on July 17th.
And how many fights has Yair pulled out of?
Man,
it's kind of ironic.
It really is.
A lot of several fights. So
yeah, and there's people that are wanting to fight him. So we'll see if he takes the fight. We'll see what happens. But as far as I know,
the problem with that is though,
I think it's being rescheduled. I don't even think they're looking for a
replacement. And if I'm Yair Rodriguez,
I'm taking Holloway.
That exactly, because you're not going to get a better name.
Yeah,
Max Holloway. It's not going to happen.
Oh yeah,
you're not even come close.
Nope. So I hope Holloway's okay. I hope it wasn't too bad of an injury, and I hope to hear some more news about kind of what it was. Or
I think it's safe to say he wasn't sparring.
Yeah, no shit, right? Yeah. He doesn't do that shit anymore.
Right.
We can quickly go over a little bit of boxing news here. We had Diego Sanchez talk this week about wanting to box Oscar De La Hoya, but
please no.
Vitor Belfort was supposed to fight the ex-football player Mike Holston, but Mike pulled out because he got COVID. But now Vitor is going to fight Oscar De La Hoya. It is confirmed.
Please no.
September 11th, 8 rounds, 2-minute rounds, 12-ounce gloves, exhibition.
Oh, I didn't know about the 2-minute rounds.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, right.
It's an exhibition. Who gives a fuck?
Right.
Somebody is fighting the cokehead now. All right, awesome.
So it's a money grab, you know.
And I'm so over these, man. I'm so over.
Please, guys, in the comment section, no transgender jokes. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, I'm so over this. I'm so over this shit. And then, Nick Diaz might be coming back in September, but not UFC. Could be boxing. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm so over it, Dirty.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I'm not 100% sold. It's not the UFC.
I fucking hope it is, man. He needs to come back home. It's been
does.
6 years, dude. It's been 6 years.
It's
and if he's ever gonna jump back into it, you're running out of time, Nick. It's almost been done. Run.
We've documented this on this podcast alone, and I can tell you personally, I know DZAN on a personal level, and we are both huge Diaz fans.
Yep.
Let's not get that twisted. But I don't think I the more I think about it, I don't think I want him to fight in the UFC because he's a legend.
Yeah.
And this isn't going to do anything for his legendary status at all. Even with a win, I don't know what it's going to do for him.
It's just going to solidify, right? It'll just solidify what people know, right?
Exactly. If he loses, he's got a lot to lose, man.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're 100%
This
right.
isn't Nate. This is a different story. Nate's been fighting.
Yeah. And maybe Dirty, you got to think maybe that's what's going in his head as to why he might even be entertaining boxing. Maybe I can still get the money without losing the legacy play.
Well, everybody else is doing this cash grab. It's not going to last long, you guys.
The last thing for this cash grab, please. Anderson Silva winning over Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Oh, okay, but I'm sorry. Split decision. I watched that fight. That was no fucking split decision.
There's nothing split there.
That was unanimous.
Look, it's the same thing as the Conor McGregor Floyd Mayweather fight. Did you look at the scorecard? Yeah. It was so ridiculous. If I were Floyd Mayweather, I would have called those judges out.
Yeah.
First of all, he won the fight by knockout. You got nothing to gain by letting that narrative fly out there as though Conor McGregor only won 2 rounds.
Yeah, there's no way. You need to rewatch that fight. You need to rewatch that fight a few times because there was so much. Even after that fight, it not only gave MMA fans like so much like oh man, this was great. Even though he lost, he showed out so well against the greatest of all time. Mm-hmm. And then on the boxing side, they're like, wow. I was not expecting that man to do that to Floyd in there. And even them were giving him his praises, giving him his flowers.
That was
roses,
the immediate reaction, but that didn't stick too long because then the narrative instantly turned and I say instantly, within 2 or 3 days of the end of that fight to where, well, Floyd didn't fight the way Floyd always fights. And he did that to put on a show because he was so confident he was going to knock Conor out. And
you know what's so funny about that is that you could, the argument for that is now out of the water because you can definitely tell that's what he did against Logan, but he did not do that against Conor McGregor.
No,
I'm sorry. He may have had that thought in the round 1. And once he got bopped, he changed his shit.
Which goes right back to the original statement, exhibition versus a sanctioned fight.
Exactly.
A sanctioned fight is a lot different story. So
exactly. 100%. So that's it for the boxing news. Good job, the GOAT, handling it. And we saw vintage Al Anderson doing the whole right here. Come on. Like, I love that shit, man. It was so great to see. I love it. And you could tell, man, he felt younger in there. He felt younger
fantastic.
In there, man. He looked amazing. His head movement was that Anderson Silva shit, bro. I loved it, man. Yep. I'm so glad that the fans got to see that. Boxing fans got to see one of our greatest go out there.
The only misstep in all of that was whoever, and I don't know, I know it wasn't Thriller or anybody like that. Whoever promoted that did a shit job, in my opinion, because there were so many people. Yeah,
it was Showtime, and nobody knew the fight was happening, right?
Right.
Yeah, I didn't know it was happening until the day of.
No, I did, but I knew the day before.
Oh, okay.
So, and we've got our ears to the grindstone on this stuff.
Exactly.
So you can't imagine that nobody else even knew they fought until after the fight.
Yep.
It was a shit promotion, man.
Yeah, man. Not too good there with
But
that.
I'm pretty sure there was somebody else involved other than Showtime. That's why I said that.
There usually is, right? Usually a big promoter in with
With
it.
something like that, you would think there would be. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's it for the boxing. Paulo Costa got a hair transplant. And I saved these tweets so I could say them on here because they were the funniest shit I've ever seen. Kevin Holland, big mouth himself, said, and I quote, "What the fuck in the world is going on here? He blocked me, or else I would tag him." And Derek Brunson said, "World, meet Baldo Costa. I got you, bro. Meet Costa as Sue Costa." Paulo Costa, why would you? You're already being trolled for having Adesanya's baby. Why would you be posting your
and all of the lipstick things? And
your stock is not very high right now, bro.
No, it's never been lower.
What are you doing? It's never been lower. What are you doing?
Oh my goodness.
Oh
man.
my God, bro. What are your thoughts on the hair transplant?
Okay, listen, man. To each his own. You know, when a chick gets boob implants, beautiful thing. She gets an ass implant. Okay, you do you. Hair transplants for guys, I think, are the equivalent of a boob job for women. As far as what they see, I love boobs in all kinds of shapes and sizes. I'm not a boob snob. Okay.
You're not a boob snob. No,
I'm not a boob snob.
I wouldn't peg you for one. I really wouldn't.
I'm not. As you know, and you've seen in or many times, I should say, I love boobies. And I don't care if they're small or if they're big. I love them all. But women, I think if theirs aren't next to perfect looking, they get complexes. The same complexes that men get with their hairline. Now I have a full head of hair, so I don't have that problem, and I never will because my family, it just thick hair runs in it. But it's when you look in the mirror and it's what you see. But I think what happens a lot of times is when guys have that receding hairline happening, or they get the horseshoe pattern, whatever the case is, when they're looking in the mirror, they're seeing something really different than what everybody else sees, because most people don't care about your hairline.
Right.
They don't care. Just like women with their boobs. I don't care if they're perfect or not.
Yeah.
I don't care if you got stretch marks. That don't bother me. Okay. I don't even think about it, quite frankly. My wife is a beautiful woman. She's not skinny. She's not huge, but she's not skinny. She's got complexes. And every time she talks about them, I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't even think about that.
Yeah.
It doesn't even enter my brain, So anyway.
I love the pictures on Instagram, though. They were fucking hilarious. I mean, just to see him with that, and he was smiling in the photo.
Yeah, I know.
Oh God, Paulo Costa, you are a target, man, and you keep.
Next thing he's gonna get tattooed lipstick, And that's not a transgender joke. I'm not trying to hear that stuff. Not like that. He looks like he wears lipstick sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes he doesn't. So,
all right, moving on.
Tattoo is next, because women do that. I don't know if you know. Some women get their eyebrows tattooed and their lips tattooed, and I've even heard of them getting
tattooed blush.
But yeah, blush. Yeah.
Jesus, man.
Yeah. Saves them time, I guess.
The quote is coming back to PFL on August 27th. No news. I don't think so. Or I didn't see about who she's fighting or anything like that, but that's a quick turnaround for Clarissa Shields. Clarissa Shields will be coming back in August 27th. So as soon as I find out more,
it is a very quick turnaround.
I will share on the pod. So the last thing that I had dirty was Luis Pena getting arrested robbery and
in
battery.
Florida here.
Yeah, you know, and he did recently just talk about his mental health issues, his mental health struggles and everything, and saying that he's finally accepted help, you know, and all the shit. And it's really unfortunate to see, man. He was one of my favorite guys from Tough. Really unfortunate.
Okay. Devil's avocado.
Do it.
It's easy to seek help once you're caught.
No, this was before. This was before.
Before he got caught for this.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
There were other things.
Right. Okay.
So,
got you.
Anyway, just saying.
No, you're absolutely right. Yep. And I wasn't aware of those either, but sucks, man. He was a good kid.
He was. And I agree with you on the Tough thing. He was very entertaining. So, but you know, when a lot of times, and I'm not making excuses for him, or Diego Sanchez or anybody else that maybe things didn't work out the way they wanted in their quest for life. You know, sometimes you do the wrong thing or a weird thing or whatever. And I mean, how many times have we heard about domestic assault being charged to a UFC fighter or MMA fighter? Yeah. You know, some of these guys don't reach the mountaintop, and other people pay the price for that. So
sad to see, man. Sad to see.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Well, before we move on to music topics, let's take a quick look at Vegas UFC 30 coming on tomorrow. So we got Sinogan versus Volkov. That's going to be a really fucking good fight.
Love Alexander Volkov.
Oh yeah, love Volkov, man.
I do. Man, he is a tough son of a bitch, man.
Mm-hmm.
And he's I think what I love most about him is he's one of those guys. He's a gentle giant, first of all. Second of all, you look at him and you think, really? He's got a bird cage.
This tall dude.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It just looks kind of weird.
Yeah.
And he steps into the octagon and
he
can fight.
Yeah. Over 40 professional fights. Yeah. This motherfucker's a beast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then we have a great up and comer, Tanner Bozer, who's going to be fighting OSP, bro. That's going to be
somewhat of
really
an up and comer.
I mean, I guess in a lot of people's minds, when you think of a main card status, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the promotion.
He's going to be a challenge though. I've seen Tanner Bozer fight several times, and he is no joke.
Yeah.
He's gonna bring it. I promise you that. Alexander Volkov is going to have his hands full.
And then we got my boy Andre Touchy Feely from from Team Alpha Male, and he's fighting.
He fought the GOAT, you know.
Yeah. You're talking about the one and the only
GOAT,
right?
The only GOAT, Artem Lobov.
Of course, the Russian Hammer. Yeah, yeah, of course. Tim Means, bro. Tim Means fighting.
One of my all-time favorite fighters. Bro. I know this. I call him the poor man's Tom Brady. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google a picture of Tim Means.
Yes, he does look he's
the poor man's Tom Brady. He looks just like a poor version of Tom Brady.
That is so fucking funny.
But I love Tim Means. If you guys don't know the story, it would take too long to tell you. But man, what a story that guy has to tell with his daughter and his ex and prison. And oh my God, man, he walked into his first day in prison. He basically walked right up to the biggest guy in there and took him out.
Yep.
And it's just a big, long story. But I follow him on Twitter. He's one of the few people I follow. And and I love Dirty Bird, man.
Yeah, man.
Dirty Bird.
Tim Means another 40+ veteran of the game, man. Fucking amazing. Renato Moicano is fighting as well. It's gonna be a really good fucking fight night, bro. It's an early fight card, so I might miss it, but I'll catch it later on in the day. It's gonna be like an early midday fight card, but it's gonna be. I
like doing that anyway because I can blow through the commercials and all that bullshit.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Same here. But it's gonna be a great fight card coming up on the UFC Vegas 30. Sorry, there we go.
And July 10th is not too far away, peeps.
Yeah, baby, that's gonna be a big one. DZAN gets to talk about the real GOAT. All right, now
one of DZAN's goats.
Let's go.
He's got a million of them.
I
don't think he understands the concept of goat. It's not goats.
I see it more as a catalog. It's more of a catalog, yeah, to me. All right, music topics, ladies and gentlemen. Some real touching shit. DMX's daughter, Sonova, I believe her name is. She made a tribute song as a gift for DMX for Father's Day, and it was a remix to his anthem, and it's titled "Anthem for the Kids." It's beautiful and it's heartbreaking at the same time. Just hearing her talk about it. That sounds
terrible already.
Yeah,
terrible, but not in a bad way. Terrible,
right? And it's not a tribute song where she's talking about her dad through it. It's just a remix of it for, it's like a kid's song, Rough Rider anthem for the kids, but she made it for him for Father's Day, to show him, and just heartbreaking her, hearing her say, I'll never get to show him, but I hate it. I hate it. But
I don't.
What a beautiful story this week to hear. I really love hearing those things. Logic, one of Dirty's favorite rappers of all time. Logic, he's officially back. Yeah, he's a goat.
He's a goat.
If you didn't know, now you know. Logic is officially back out of retiring since July of 2020. He dropped an intro track.
Okay, he needs slapped. Listen, I can't stand this fucking retiring shit.
Whoa.
And no, I fucking hate it, because everybody retires and then comes out of retirement. That's not retirement. Don't fucking tell me you're retiring and then 3 months later you're fucking back at it. Jesus Christ. Go ahead.
You were doing great.
DZAN thought dishes were going to start flying.
Yeah, I thought you were going to start throwing shit. Whoa. Yeah, he had his name. What the? Where the fuck was I? What the fuck just happened? Okay. He released an intro track, and it's not that great. It didn't make it on DZAN singles of the week. I'll tell you that. It wasn't that great. I love Logic. I really do. I really do love Logic. But this wasn't it.
Throwing around the R word too much, hastily.
when I first heard the beat, it reminded me of vintage Logic back in the day, and I felt kind of excited. And then when he rapped, it felt like weird. I didn't like it. I wasn't a fan, and I just played it a few times, and that was it. So I hope the album will be different, but you never know. But the album is on the horizon.
Generally speaking, when they release a single, it's one of the better ones. So
yes. So we'll see about that. But I also wanted to give a shout out here to Lil Baby. Another great story this week. Lil Baby bought out an entire Foot Locker and just gave it out to the community. I love it, especially when you get these young, influential rappers, these young guns, these guys that are really carrying the rap game, the young rap game, to where it's going to be in the next 10 years or so. It's really great seeing them do this. You know what I mean? It's really good to see. I loved it, man. And I hope that a lot of these other young rappers do some of the same kind of shit. Whether they're doing it for the gram or not, just do it. It's good either way. So shout out to Lil Baby for that. I loved it. And then for us,
there's nothing wrong. Hang on a second though. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with a motive other than helping people out. There's nothing wrong with it, because in the end, the result is the same. Right. There were a bunch of poor kids that walked out of there with new shoes.
Yep. 100%.
So that's all I care about. So.
Right before this podcast started, ladies and gentlemen, DZAN was thumbing through his notes, making sure I almost said crossed my I's, dotted my I's, and I crossed my T's. And on YouTube popped up a new joiner that just dropped today, Wednesday, the 23rd. I have not fucking heard it yet, but as soon as this podcast is done, I'm going to go check it out. It is featuring Rick Ross, called Legend. It's called Legend. Or Legends. I think it's called Legend, but it's featuring Rick Ross. I have not pressed play on the video yet. It's a music video. I have not pressed play yet,
Wow.
but I'm very excited to do so. I wish we could watch it
I am
right fucking
intrigued.
now. I
I
really
am
wish we could
very
just
intrigued. I gotta
check
say.
it out. Yeah, I'm very excited. So new joiner just dropped. I'm gonna be checking that out. But I'm gonna go ahead and just throw it on singles of the week because it's Joyner Lucas, and I know it's probably gonna be amazing. So Joyner Lucas Legends featuring Rick Ross is one of the singles of the week.
I don't think Joyner Lucas puts out shit anyway. So
He does not. He does not. And now that we're in singles of the week, the last one that I had, the only other single of the week was we had a new Tech Nine song that redeemed
Tech Nine.
all the bullshit that I was speaking about the Hush album and all that shit about the EP and me not liking it very much. Thank you, Tech Nine. You heard me and you're like, DZAN, you're right. Let me give you some proper shit. And let me
He
just
showed me the
this out.
private message, guys.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Me and Tech are real good. Me and Tech are real. We go way back actually. It's called Close Your Eyes. And it gave me, I don't know if you've heard the album Something Else, but it gave me Something Else vibes. It was a really great fucking song. Really great song, Dirty. I've been playing it over and over and over it. So Dirty, you got to check that shit out. And ladies and gentlemen,
we got there's a lot of Tech Nine that I know for a fact we haven't done because I see it come on my feed sometimes and I'm like, oh, I haven't listened to that one yet. I mean, so Dirty, I know
his catalog is ridiculous.
Oh yeah. I'm aware of that. Yeah. I'm aware that's, and I've only done like 2, I think.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of that's because of Michael over on Patreon.
Shout out to Michael.
What's up, Michael? What's up, brother?
Shout out to Michael. But that's all I have for music. I just wanted to get that out there. Those are the singles of the week, guys. Please go check those out. Bump those fucking tracks. I'm gonna be checking out that Joyner Lucas track as soon as this is over. That's all I have. What do you have, Dirty? Before we move into our top 10?
I got nothing. We're going top 10 right now. Top 10
favorite
horror flicks of all time. Favorite horror flicks of all time.
Yes.
You are starting first today. I always start first.
Okay. I like it. Let's see if you throw me off. All right. I have two honorable mentions.
Oh, okay.
I have two honorable mentions.
So do I.
Annabelle is my first honorable mention because I could not fit it into the top 10, but I love Annabelle. The whole series of those films I love, but Annabelle in particular, love Annabelle. The next one that I have is called Down, but it was retitled The Shaft in 2001. It was about this haunted elevator in New York. I don't know if you ever seen that, but that shit gave me nightmares when I was 9 years old. Nightmares. I used to suffer from night terrors. And that was one of the movies that set it the fuck off, bro. Seeing somebody's head get decapitated slowly in an elevator shaft, you'll never forget as a 9-year-old boy. You're scarred. Those are my honorable mentions.
The Exorcist did that to me.
Oh yeah.
So
all right, Dirty, give me your honorable mention.
Honorable mention, 2 of them. Scream or the Scream movies.
Right.
And House of a Thousand Corpses, Rob Zombie. I'm a big fan of Rob Zombie's music. It's kind of like and I think it's because there's almost a hip hop tip to it. Mm-hmm. Very, very borderlining. I mean, it's pretty heavy rock. I don't know if I would call it heavy metal. Some of it, the older stuff maybe, but anyway. He did several movies, and House of a Thousand Corpses, I believe that was the first one he did. It is gory as fuck. It is so fucking gory. But it's a shit movie. It's almost laughable, but I love that movie. And then the Scream movies, they weren't worthy of my top 10, I feel, but I think that in my world, it was worth mentioning because I did like the movies.
Based on the cult success, it's definitely worth mentioning for sure. It didn't make my top 10 either, but I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you brought it up.
Right on.
All right, my number 10. So I started off. Here we go. My number 10, Get Out. I love Get Out. That was my shit. Did you watch Get Out? You know what I'm referring to?
I told you.
All right. Yeah.
I knew this was going to happen. I knew it.
Yeah.
I think this whole list is going to be like this. I really, really do.
This is going to be really great to see how this list turns out. Then, if that's how you had, to about Get Out, it's by Jordan Peele, half of Key and Peele. Do you know Key and Peele, the comedic group? Okay, so Jordan Peele, he made this horror movie. Okay, and it's about this dude who just had his girlfriend. He's meeting her, and it turns out that they take these guys and they implant themselves in their brain so they can live forever. It's fucking crazy. It's intense. And you need to see it and get back to me by 3. All right. What's your 10? Into your 10.
Number 10 is Alfred Hitchcock. Ooh, didn't see that coming, did you?
No, I did not.
There's actually no. I don't think the other one is. Anyway, The Birds.
Okay.
So it's black and white. Well before my time, but I watched it. I remember when I was probably 8, 9 years old. I remember it coming on TV. And I had never been so terrified in my life. And Alfred Hitchcock, at the time he was around, I did a lot of reading on him. At the time he was around, he was very, very appreciated for his genius. And just like with all things, that goes away. It fades away. Believe it or not, in 100 years, people will probably not view Tupac Shakur as a genius, but we know different.
Right.
But that movie was created so uniquely. And listen, we live in a horrible time for movies. This is a terrible, terrible time because everything is about money. There's no artistic integrity whatsoever anymore. It's all about the bottom dollar, which is why so many independent films do so well, because it's no different than a record company now. It's all about the views and the dollars. That's all they care about. And Alfred Hitchcock's approach was it was the antithesis of that, the exact opposite of that. It was straight art. And I have such an appreciation for that. Just like I have such an appreciation for listening to Coltrane, famous black blues player, incredible blues player. And there was nothing predictable about his music. Nothing. Whereas now it's verse, chorus, verse, maybe a pre-chorus, chorus, verse, chorus, outro. Every song is like that. It's just the way it is. And yeah, you can switch it up a little bit, but are you really? You're not. You're doing the same formula everybody else has done in 4/4 time.
Right.
You know. Whereas The Birds and Alfred Hitchcock, it was Coltrane. You know, you didn't know what was coming next. It was next to impossible to see. And I just have such an appreciation for that. So
nice.
Number 10, The
Classic
Birds.
Classic pick. All right, my number 9, 1408.
Never heard of it.
Oh my God, I love it. What I love most about this fucking movie was the mystery of it. And you'll see that kind of trend a little bit, but I love the mystery horror kind of genres. And John Cusack is in this movie, the main character of this movie. He plays with Samuel L. Jackson. And it's
love Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh yeah, man. Samuel Jackson plays the creepy hotel manager that tries to keep John Cusack away from the room 1408.
I did see that movie.
Oh yeah,
I did see that movie.
Yeah. He's the author that debunks supernatural occurrences.
Yes, I do remember that.
Fucking amazing movie, dude.
That was a pretty good movie
so many times when I was younger. So 1408 is always going to be in my top 10 for horror movies. And
right
again,
on.
Horror mystery.
After you said that he was the hotel manager, I remember him being at the desk and all of that stuff. Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson is in everything. I mean, let's not. He's in like fucking 1,000 movies. That motherfucker's in everything.
Yeah. Okay, my number 9. Another serious throwback. Night of the Living Dead.
Oh, nice.
I mean, if it's not on your top 10 favorite list, I'm not speaking to just DZAN. If it's not on your top 10, then you haven't watched it.
Mm.
Night of the Living Dead is the precursor to every zombie movie ever made. It was the first, it was the original, and it was awesome. Another one of those movies that when I was a little kid, and again, it was way before my time, but back then movies were on TV a lot, and and I just terrified. So many left turns, and so good.
I like it. I like that. You really like that gory shit. I kind of like that gory shit too. And speaking of gory shit, my number 8 is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, not the original, the 2003 remake of the original. I found that one way better. Look, dirty. That's more my generation. I'm sorry, not the original, the 2003 version. And let me just say this, and you'll understand why. Jessica Biel.
Have you ever heard of the cover of Simple Man? I don't know if it was Five Finger Death Punch or somebody. It was a Leonard Skinner song.
Yeah, I know the song.
Okay,
and
well,
so many people has covered it. Yeah.
Well, this one got pushed really hard by the record company, but it was shit. And I know a lot of people that liked it, but it was shit. And there's just I hate cover songs unless you're going to do something different with it, and not just an updated sound, because that's all. If it was Five Finger Death Punch, whoever it was just a recreation of the original. Why?
Right.
If you're not going to do something really, really special with it, leave it alone.
Right. And
that's how I look at it.
The main purpose was to bring it to the newer times, which is why I think I found it better than the original.
Was that the purpose, or was the purpose?
I found it way more terrifying than the original because it was more real. The effects have gotten much better, and it was a great story to begin with. So I think it was a great updated version. And Jessica Biel is one of the sexiest actresses of all time. So
I would not kick her out of bed.
So 11-year-old me is going to say, yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003 was better.
Okay.
And of course, Michael Bay, come on, Michael Bay, producer extraordinaire.
I know he is. Yeah.
You know what, Dirty?
He did Armageddon.
You don't respect me. You don't respect me.
I don't. I know I'm losing it by the second.
Go to number 7.
The higher we get on the list, the more I'm losing.
What's the next film from 1930 that you choose?
Friday the 13th.
The original.
Of course.
Of course, the original.
Where have you been?
Of course.
Are you not paying attention?
I am paying attention.
The original is always the best.
And I'm not,
because they created it. Redoing something isn't creative. There's nothing art about that. There's nothing creative about that. You just copycatted somebody verbatim. Anyway, Jesus. Friday the 13th. Listen, man, the original Jason, and there was in the 70s, in the late 70s, and then in the early 80s with Nightmare on Elm Street and all of those, there was a serious competition going on which one. And and DZAN and I have debated this before too, and we're going to have a throwdown one of these days right here on the channel about who would win.
We're going to talk about it a little later.
Or Jason or Freddy, but that was that period of time. Friday the 13th and Halloween and
Nightmare on Elm Street.
That came slightly later, but nevertheless, it was a good time for horror flicks.
Right.
And so I
that one came out in the 70s, right? Early 70s? Was it 74?
Late 70s.
Oh, late 70s. Okay, yeah. Because I think Wes Craven's original was, you're right, mid 80s or early 80s.
Yeah, and I think Halloween was the first one. I'm pretty sure, and that came out in 78. I know that.
Okay,
for a fact.
Yeah.
So
that sounds
anyway,
right.
7.
My number 7.
Wait, Yeah, seven.
Yeah,
Sorry,
7.
Yeah.
My number 7, ladies and gentlemen,
I numbered them this time. So.
Paranormal Activity 3, the
Oh,
third
okay.
one. Okay, in particular, I
Is
love
that the
them.
one that had the logs on the back of the trailer? It
No.
bounced off the ground?
Oh my God, you're thinking of Final Destination. And
Oh
holy
shit!
I'm really upset that that's not on the list. Fuck. That's an honorable
that's
mention.
right.
Final
Yeah.
Destination.
What am I thinking?
Oh, damn it! And
My
that was
bad.
Final Destination 2
Yeah.
that you were thinking about.
Okay.
I always think about that on the highway. You're never not going to think about Final Destination when you're on a highway.
The logs,
and you got
man.
a fucking flatbed of logs in front of
Oh
you,
my
and you're
goodness.
like, I'm changing lanes. Fuck this.
Every time I see one of those.
Yeah. No,
Now, I
Paranormal
don't
Activity.
now I'm from Detroit for the most part, and I live in Florida now, so I don't see them for whatever reason down here. But up there, we used to see them all the time. So,
Paranormal Activity 3. Do you remember Paranormal Activity at all? Do you know Paranormal Activity? Okay,
yes.
so the third one was the prequel to all of them. And this was the one that I found the most terrifying. Whenever Katie and her sister were in the beginning stages as children, it's always scarier when you add children in the mix. And these actresses, they did so fucking good, bro. They did so good. And I will say, every film in the Paranormal Activity series, even the marked ones, which was kind of it was about that the Latino boy. I forgot what his name was, but he got possessed by a demon or some shit, but it was kind of a side story to the Paranormal Activity series. But the third one in particular was so fucking good. And I was terrified by it when I first saw it. The whole Hail Mary scene and oh man, it gets me every fucking time. That one in particular. That's my number 7 right there.
Right on. I got no hate on that one. Those were good movies.
Yeah.
What are we at? 6? Right?
6. Number 6.
Yeah. Wait, no, 7, because you went first. I forgot.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's right.
So I'm following it up with Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, okay.
Had to get it in there. I mean, no particular one really. Whereas Halloween and Friday the 13th, I had favorite ones of those. Nightmare on Elm Street, not really necessarily a favorite. I guess we'll go with the first one because it was the original and that's what kicked this whole thing off. But Freddy Krueger, one of the most recognizable villains of all time, and what a great makeup job. That had to have been Robert Englund, I think was his name.
Robert Englund. Yeah. Robert Englund.
That had to have been an absolute nightmare to wear that around for all of those movies. And so kudos to him. Nightmare on Elm Street, my number 7.
All right. My number 6 is It, the original series. The original series, not the new movies, the original series. Goddamn, if there was anything that gave me nightmares as a 6-year-old little boy, it was that fucking clown. I will say one scene in particular, I'm bring it back to my childhood, was when the clown climbed out of the drain to the boy in the shower.
The sewer? Yeah.
I did not shower for 4 motherfucking weeks because of that fucking movie. I was terrified that a clown was going to come out of my motherfucking drain. I was terrified, bro. I had the door all the way open. My mom would be like, shut the damn door. Steam. No, mom.
That same kind of thing happened to me, and I don't remember which movie it is. Maybe you guys can tell me. But there was a movie where there was a snake in the toilet, and the person didn't know it and sat down. And
oh my God, no, my God,
dude, I shit on the toilet for probably 6 months, holding myself up and constantly looking between my legs. Oh my God, man. I had such a fucking phobia because of that fucking movie, man. I forget what it was, but it was a really bad movie though. It was definitely a B grade movie, but anyway.
And I know the actor, I can't remember his name, that played the clown, because he was also in the Scary Movie franchise. He played the fucking creepy professor in Scary Movie 3.
Oh yeah.
Scary Movie 2, but he did a fantastic fucking job as this fucking creepy clown.
You know,
he did so good.
It is worth mentioning that I did love that. I wouldn't really put that. I'd put that in the comedy genre, but I did love those movies. The stupid scary movies.
Oh, the scary movies. Oh, yeah.
All of those fucking, I don't know what you call those, that brand.
There's satire comedy parodies. Yeah,
So you
satire
had
parody
that.
comedy.
You had
Not Another Teen
Airplanes
movie.
not
Yeah,
another teen
Airplanes.
movie. Yeah.
Naked Gun. Yeah,
Naked Gun. Yeah.
My
Leslie
God.
Nielsen. Yeah.
Leslie
Yeah.
Nielsen is the funniest man on earth. And
You know, I was
he
watching
has-
an episode of MASH, and
Mhm.
believe it or not, he was on there.
Oh my God.
I was
he playing
shocked.
serious? Was he super
Yeah,
serious? 'Cause
yeah.
MASH is
Yeah, it
super
was hard to
serious.
believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so fucking funny. There
Yeah.
are so many things there's so many things that man says so well off the cuff.
Surely
too.
you can't be serious.
Yeah, he's like,
Yeah,
yes, I am, and don't call me Shirley.
I'm very
Or he's
serious.
like,
And don't
how do
call
you
me
think the
Shirley.
prostitute died? And then he's like, sex, and he turns around, he's like, not now, but maybe later. Come on, yeah, I love it. All right, that was it. That was my number 6. What's your number 6, Dirty?
Number 6, Deliverance.
I've never seen this.
Wow. It's
Yeah, I've never seen it.
It's one of the greatest movies of all time by a lot of people's standards, not horror flicks, like
Wow.
movies, period. Yeah. Burt Reynolds, Ned Beatty, John, what's her name's dad? What's her name's dad? That helps. Oh shit. Anyway,
Stamos?
no. No, she was married to Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, her dad.
Oh, okay.
What the fuck's his name? Famous actor, man. Son of a bitch. Come on, man. Help me out here.
I don't know. I'll look up the movie. Burt Reynolds, John Voight, Ned Beatty.
John Voight.
All right, John Voight.
Yes. Young John Voight at that in that movie. But it's a movie about this journey through Georgia. It's in the backwoods. And even Family Guy did this hilarious cutaway that was kind of stealing from the movie Deliverance.
Mhm.
And these two black guys come, or no, maybe it's just one black guy comes rolling up the river, and he says, can you tell me which way it is to Appletown, whatever.
Mhm.
And there's Kermit the Frog for whatever reason. He goes, "Shh, it's back the way you came." And that's what this movie was. I mean, essentially, it wasn't a black and white thing, but it was. That's essentially what the movie was about.
Yeah.
These people were being terrified. Ned Beatty gets raped.
Oh my God.
By these backwoods people, and they're just there on a fishing retreat, you know.
Yeah.
They just end up in this nightmare life over several days, and oh my God, man, it's wild. It's a wild movie. But yeah, Deliverance is in a lot of people's top 10 favorite movies of all time. That's a must-see movie. You got to see that movie. Have to. So yeah, number 6, Deliverance.
All right. My number 5, getting into the top 5, The Shining.
Oh,
Motherfucking The Shining. Oh my God.
I'm a little ashamed that I don't have that on mine.
Oh man. I mean, how many iconic scenes are in this fucking movie? Here comes Johnny. The fucking frozen scene, the blood in the hallway scene, the twins scene, the ball scene, the bar scene.
Nicholson, excuse me, was just kind of catching a stride then, and there was so much stuff, man.
Did he play the fuck out of this role? You believed. One of my favorite scenes from this movie was his delusional conversation in the bar with the bartender. He's just such an amazing fucking actor, and he goes through this whole little delusion pattern throughout the whole fucking film, and you can see him gradually getting worse and worse. And dude, it not only is it a classic, but it's a fucking horrifying fucking film. I just had my wife watch it for the first time last year, Oh my
Oh,
God,
okay.
she was terrified. Yeah, she had never seen it before.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, all that blood. Said, yeah, they set the record for that much blood in like a scene before, like with
Oh, was it? I
with
didn't know
yeah,
that. Okay.
they
Wow.
set the record for the most blood used in one scene, and it was the blood rushing in the hallway,
Yeah,
going against
I
the
remember.
walls,
Yeah.
and oh
That
my
was a
God,
fantastic movie. You're
yeah, fantastic
absolutely
movie. So
spot on with that
number
one.
5, that's my number 5.
Okay. We are going deep in the archives
Okay.
on this one. This I want to say 1933.
Oh wow, so I was right earlier.
No, I mean I'm dead serious.
Hit me with it. What is it?
One of the first. It was a silent movie. Yeah, Nosferatu.
That, you know what? That sounds familiar.
Everybody says it's the scariest movie
Okay.
of all time.
Wow.
Everybody says that. I mean, pretty much. So
I
I
got to see
watched
this.
it several times. It's horrifying. It is. It's a horrifying movie. But it was done at a time when there wasn't a rating system. There wasn't anything really known as taboo.
Right.
Pretty much did whatever you wanted
Did
to at
whatever
that
you
time.
wanted, right?
Yeah. And they took full advantage of it in that movie. It's about Dracula is what it is. But yeah, that absolutely had to be in my top 10. It's another must-see movie. So if you've never seen Nosferatu, you got to check it out.
Right on. And report to us by 3.
Report to me by 3 p.m., please.
All right. My number 4 is The Exorcist. The original dirty 1973 film, The Exorcist. Yes. That is my
stop.
fucking. Okay.
My number 4, The Exorcist.
Oh, I love when this happens. Man, I love when this happens. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
One of the best horror movies of all fucking time to begin with.
No doubt.
Every actor in this motherfucking movie is fantastic. That's what you need in a good horror movie. You need believability, bro. You need believability.
So I want to say 6th grade.
Mm-hmm.
The movie came on TV and everybody was talking about it coming on at school. I remember that because they were, I want to say they were showing it A, uncut, and B, without commercials.
Woo!
Yeah. And it was a really big deal at the time.
Yeah.
For television. And it was uncut, and it did. And from what I remember, I believe it was commercial free. Anyway, everybody at school was talking about it. Everybody's geared up. So I've got to watch this because everybody at school is going to talk about it on Monday. So I watched the movie, and what I didn't tell you was, I forgot to tell you was, I was babysitting my sister. I was in 6th grade. I was babysitting my sister.
God.
And my sister fell asleep. She wasn't allowed to watch the movie. And I had to watch the movie because I knew if I didn't, I wouldn't know what anybody was talking about. I was going to catch a bunch of shit.
Right.
So I'm in the house essentially by myself, watching this bitch's head spin.
Yeah.
Projectile vomiting everywhere. And I was literally, and I've never told this story to anybody other than my wife. I was in tears. I was terrified. I literally watched the movie from behind my couch. And at the end of the couch, I was peeking around to watch it. And then I remember at one point, I thought there was something underneath the couch that grabbed me. I still don't know what that was, but there was something touched me. And finally, I got like 3/4 of the way through the movie and I had to shut it off. I couldn't watch it anymore. So I didn't know how it ended. So I went to school and I was asking everybody, did you watch it? Did you watch it? And everybody's, yeah. Everybody's trading notes and I'm taking notes on how it ended.
Right.
So that I could tell everybody.
Right.
Yeah, that I watched it. And oh my God. And then lo and behold, though, here's the funny part, is I'd say half the class admitted that they didn't watch it till the end. But I had already shot my load and told everybody that I had watched it till the end. So
yeah. So you're like, oh
Yeah.
fuck. Well, not going back now.
yeah, it's too late.
Yeah, brother. Such a great fun. And when I was a kid, this was already on DVD and shit. They're all of our parents obviously loved the movie, and so we watched it on DVD. And just knowing as a kid that this was based on a true story, and as a kid, when you hear based on a true story, everything in that movie is real life, and everything just happened just like it did in the film. It was fucking horrifying. It was terrifying.
I now that you said that, I realize I left a movie off of my list that I missed, and we've got to get this movie mentioned. Amityville Horror.
That's a great pick. Yeah, I don't have that on mine
has
either.
to be mentioned, man. That was
You're talking about the Ryan Reynolds remake, right?
No, yeah, fuck you. Ryan Reynolds. Jesus Christ. Anyway. If I see you in person, I'm gonna
look. I know the buttons, guys.
For that one,
listen, guys. I know the buttons to push.
He does. He's good at it. Oh, where are we?
We're on number. You're number 4. No, we both shared number 4.
Yeah.
Now my number 3. Yeah. My number 3 now. My number 3 is The Conjuring.
Oh,
the original, The Conjuring.
Fair.
And this honestly is one of the scariest movies I've ever seen in my life. And whenever it first came out, it was boasted as one of the most terrifying movies that has ever been made. They've said this before. When I watched it, genuinely
it stood
terrified.
Up. Yeah, it held up. It was a good fucking movie.
When you get those hairs on the back of your neck standing up, you know it's a good fucking film. The whole game with the little clap thing.
The Grudge did that to me too.
The Grudge too. Yeah, The Grudge. Yeah, for sure. But the original, The Conjuring, that, like I said before, when I mentioned Annabelle, the whole series in general is fantastic, but that one started it off, and it was a great fucking starter. That's my number 3.
He's making progress, people. He went to the original at the time. Okay. My number 3, may not even heard this one, but Angel Heart.
Never heard it.
Oh, dude.
Never heard it. I'm sorry. I keep letting
Lisa
you down,
Bonet.
bro.
Please, somebody send this video to Lisa Bonet. Will you marry me? I got this. I've always had this huge thing for Lisa Bonet. Lisa Bonet, Armand Asante. I don't want to say his name in the movie because it'll give too much away.
Okay.
I know that sounds really weird, but it would give a lot away if I said his name. So I'm going to let you go into it cold.
Okay.
But I can tell you some parts about the movie that just really rang out to me. There's a lot of voodoo in the movie. I'm pretty sure it took place in New Orleans. But at one point, Lisa Bonet is very naked, and that made Dirty a very happy man. But the reality is the storyline is fantastic. And if you don't know what's going to happen, which is why I'm being very careful not to say too much, if you don't know about this Armand Asante's character, you don't really see it coming.
Is this a mystery? Is it a mystery?
Mickey Rourke, it's a mystery.
I love those. I fucking love those.
Mickey Rourke is the main character.
Oh wow, okay.
And a young Mickey Rourke, and Lisa Bonet is kind of his counterpart, and then Armand Asante is his own thing. And out of all of the movies that I have listed here, that is the one I would recommend the highest.
Oh wow, okay.
Because it's such a thriller from beginning to end. And again, everybody always says they saw it coming, but whenever I've watched this movie with somebody, they never saw it coming.
They never see it.
So
coming.
I'm calling bullshit on the people that said they saw it coming. But something comes, and when it gets there, it's pretty well. So that I know that I'm speaking very, 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 very Cody, but there's a reason why, and you'll see when you watch that movie, and I'll talk to you at 3 p.m. So,
all right, number 2, my number 2, A Nightmare on Elm Street 5.
Oh, okay.
The Dream Child.
Oh,
The Dream
yeah. I
Child.
remember that one very well. Yeah.
That it will always be burned in my brain. There's two Nightmare on Elm Streets I'll always remember. The original and 5. 5 because it was closest to, when I was born, and that was the one I saw the most probably. And it's always, again, terrifying when you add kids in the mix. Now she's pregnant and she's having nightmares, and this motherfucker's gonna get her baby. It's such a fucking horrifying movie. But of course, I'll always put in the bag as well the original with there, because you can never beat Johnny Depp being sucked into a bed with buckets of blood spewing onto the ceiling. You just don't beat that shit. Right. So A Nightmare on Elm Street, and Freddy Krueger, yes, is the number 1 killer and will definitely
you're out of your fucking mind,
anybody.
Do you know how many times Michael Myers has been shot in one movie?
And how many,
let alone in all of the movies? Oh, come on, dude. Give me a break.
Difference.
There's nobody that can beat Michael. You know what? No, stop.
Stop. Here's the difference.
No. That's a different video. We talked about this.
All right.
We're going to do this, you guys, at some point. Right. We're going to make a separate video, and we're going to see who would win. Would it be Michael Myers? Would it be Freddy Krueger? Spoiler
alert. It's Freddy fucking Krueger.
We'll see.
All right. That's my number 2, Dream
number
Child.
2. I'm going to guess 1960, 64-ish. I don't know. I really don't know.
Going?
Psycho.
Oh, great movie.
Yeah. Norman Bates, man. Movie. I mean, the movie was a psychological thriller. Yeah. But it was a horror flick at the same time. Cheap budget, and one of the greatest movies ever made. The storyline was phenomenal. It was secured. In other words, there were no hiccups at all in that storyline. I love that movie. The fact that they barely showed his mom just added to the suspense and overall texture of the movie. And I mean, I could go on for an hour about that movie. Just a tremendous, tremendous horror flick. So Psycho, my number 2. Your number 1, DZAN.
All right, hold on. Let me preface this with it's a remake, but you probably have
hang on 1 second.
Oh God.
So you're telling me that your number 1 greatest horror flick of all time, is not an original.
And it's because I never seen the original. I thought this movie was the original. I know that probably makes you feel even more mad, but exactly. you probably have never even seen this film. My number 1 movie of all time was the 2001 horror movie, 13 Ghosts.
Oh,
come on, give it to me.
I never saw it.
Give it to. Oh, well then good. Then you can't really talk shit.
No,
it came out. The original came out in 1960. I never fucking seen it, but again, when I'm thinking about me growing up as a kid, I had night terrors very young, and they started getting less and less as you get older. But around that time, I was having them heavily. And like I said earlier with The Shaft, this right here was the number 1 film that just gave me such vivid night terrors. I was dreaming that there were dead bodies all over the house, and I had to get them outside the backyard. But in reality, I was throwing all of our blankets and pillows outside in the backyard, and my dad's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Get your ass
like
in bed."
Step Brothers,
bro. Yeah, exactly. They had to lock me in my room. I would do shit like that, bro. And it was always terrifying situations, but this movie right here was the main catalyst. If you guys have not seen this fucking movie, it's basically 13 ghosts living in a gigantic mansion that this family has no idea about that they're living with until they slowly find them and they're locked in this mansion. It's a fantastic, horrifying movie from beginning to end. 13 Ghosts is my number one.
Okay, I can't hate on it because I don't know it. But believe me, I would have if I could have.
I knew you would. That's why I had to preface it.
That's what I'm here for. Okay. The greatest horror flick ever made. I'm not just saying it's my favorite. It is the greatest franchise horror flick of all time. The original 1978 version, Halloween. Michael Myers. This started off everything, you guys. There were no franchise horror flicks before then, you know, which is only going to lend to Michael Myers being the greatest. But Jason came a year or two after that. Then Freddy came 2 or 3 years after that. And then, of course, you had Scream movies and so on and so forth. This one started it off. And there's a reason why everybody followed suit. Because A, it was good. It was fun. It was exciting. B, because you could repeat it. And create new ones, which they did for quite some time. And then they took a hiatus, and then Rob Zombie came back. And by the way, I want to give a shout out to Rob Zombie for his remake of the prequel to all of the Halloween movies. He got a lot of criticism for it. Now, I am
was that the Busta Rhymes one?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say Dirty. That was like
that was the worst one. That was the worst one by a mile.
Okay.
No, that wasn't a John Carpenter movie either.
Okay.
John Carpenter did the original one, and then Rob Zombie did in 2012. I want to start.
Oh shit. Okay, yeah, I definitely didn't see that.
Anyway, he did a prequel to the first movie, where Michael Myers was just a school kid.
Oh wow.
Oh dude,
I have not seen that. I need to go back and watch it. Yeah, I've never seen it.
We cannot have this
all right
fight until you see that movie, because
agreed.
And I'm not being funny here. It really, and this is what I was going to say. This is why I brought it up, because Rob Zombie caught a lot of shit. Well, it's kind of like making a prequel to Star Wars. You're going to get it wrong.
Right.
According to 90% of the people, because nobody in the world's going to agree on what should have been what. Right. So he probably knew going into this, he was going to get ripped to shreds for this, because there's no right answer. But the story he told, I thought was so brilliant at explaining everything.
Yeah.
And the little Michael Myers that they had, he was, I want to say, in 4th or 5th grade, somewhere in there. And then he grows up into this gigantic, larger than life character. I can't wait till you watch this.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I gotta watch this shit.
No, I'll tell you who was in it though. What is his name? The Mexican guy. He was an Anchorman. He was the bartender. But he had his own movie too. Oh shit. It starts with a T, I think, his last name. Anyway, man, I don't want to spoil anything for you, but he's in the movie. It's a fantastic movie. And then the guy that plays the doctor in the original movie, Donald, is played by Donald Pleasance. They couldn't use him. I'm pretty sure he's dead now. But the guy that they got to play him did a great job. The mom of Michael Myers was played by Sherry Moon Zombie, who is Rob Zombie's wife.
Okay.
By the way, Smoke Show. She plays a stripper, and I'm not giving too much away here, but she plays a stripper, and the kids at school are making fun of Michael because there was an ad in the local newspaper and it had her picture on it. And this one kid said he was going to bang her, and so that got him going, and you started to see the wheels slowly start turning. And then by the end of the movie, he's full on Michael Myers. It is a awesome movie, but that's not the original that I have as number one. The original, I picked it because it is the original, but also, I always forget her name. What's the girl's name that's in the original movie? Come on.
Of Halloween. Son of a bitch.
She played in Trading Places. Jamie Lee Curtis. Yes.
Yeah.
That was kind of her first start, and I thought she was great, and she's been very good about taking on those roles. Because I know she didn't want to do them anymore, but she did come back a couple of times to revive that franchise. And she took it for the team, and kudos to her. Shout out to her for that. But I thought from beginning to end that was the greatest and scariest horror flick ever made, because it was so terrifying to that town, and Haddonfield, Illinois.
Yeah.
I just thought that was the best thing ever. But yeah, the Rob Zombie one, he did two of them. The second one was okay. The first one was out of this world.
And there was a new one this year, right? Did you see that one?
Yeah, not Rob Zombie though.
No, okay.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think there's one coming out next year too. Like,
I don't believe it's Rob Zombie.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's not. But yeah, he did a fantastic job at summing everything up and leading right into the 1978 version,
right into the original. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Got you.
It was a prequel, but he walked you right into it. So
yeah, you know what? I gotta say, I'm surprised we only had one on the list that were the same.
I knew that was going to happen.
And how funny that it was the same number too. Yeah. So The Exorcist was our only one that we had the same.
I shouldn't say I knew it, but I had a strong suspicion, only because as I was thinking about it, I'm like, there are so many subgenres of horror flicks.
Oh, right.
We picked, I picked Angel Heart. I don't know if it's technically
like a
horror
thriller
flick,
mystery, right?
Yeah,
thriller mystery.
Yeah, exactly.
But same thing with 1408. It's not a horror; it's more of a mystery thriller, right? So yeah, there are those on there, but it all falls into that genre. Just like comedy has a little bit of drama in it, comedy has a little bit of action in it. It could be various things, right? Yeah. So yeah.
So I say not next week, because we got to give DZAN some time. We can't do this until he watches the Rob Zombie version.
Yes, which I will.
We can't have this argument until then. But maybe in a few weeks from now, we'll do something like that. Give him time to do that. But next week, we're going to leave 100% up to you guys. But you got to participate. So leave a comment section, please, guys. Or leave a comment in the comment section telling us what you guys want us to do on our next top 10.
Yep.
So,
and guys, do not forget, we have Vegas 30 coming up tomorrow. The picks will be up tomorrow, so look out for that early card. Make sure that you're following us on Instagram and Twitter at DirtyN apostrophe and DZAN DZAN.
Actually, I can't do it because it's on your side.
Yeah,
I was trying to point to it last week. Yeah. That's it right there.
Right there. Yep, there you go. There you go.
All right, guys, that's all we got for you this week. Hope you enjoyed it, and please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, do all of that stuff. Hit the notification bell, and we are out. Peace.